Hey guys. Okay, so I want to share something personal. I want to share my number one most important, most helpful mantra or affirmation that I use to help myself. And it's a compilation of a few different things that have grown most important to me, most salient to me in my personal journey of self-discovery and healing and in finding peace for myself. So here it is. I am a winner because I don't quit, and I have inherent worth and value. I am inherently good enough and have worth and value all the time through all eternity and through all realms of consciousness throughout the universe. This mantra or affirmation is a belief, a core belief, and this describes who I am to the core, and it describes what I believe, what I truly believe about myself and others. So, if you want to stick with me here for a few minutes, let me explain. So, let's get into it. First part, I am a winner. I'm a winner because I don't quit. Now, my definition of a winner is somebody who doesn't give up, and that is me. So I think that I use pretty realistic thinking along with a deep sense of belief and hope in myself and in my abilities. And I will fight to the death to accomplish my goals while also using flexibility to pivot when I need to accomplish those goals. I have the ability to persevere. I have tenaciousness, and I've proved this through my 41 years of life to accomplish a lot of things that I have set out to accomplish. And I have the wisdom to know when to pivot. So when I need to either adjust those goals or adjust the action items that I need to take or the things I need to accomplish in order to achieve the end goal. And I have the wisdom and the ability to discriminate when I can do things myself and when I need to ask for help. And I have learned over the years and now have a greater ability to figure out who I need to ask for help, who are the right people to ask for this help. And I've had a lot more experience and gotten a lot better to figure out how much money should I spend to get that help and how to organize all of this so that I can accomplish the goal. And I'm also incredibly patient. So when you combine patience with this wisdom and this tenacity, what do you achieve? Winning. That's how you win. So some people might look at certain aspects of my life and think like, yep, 100%. She won on that one. She won on that one. She's a winner or whatever. Or they might look and say like, holy shit, you failed at that thing over there. You failed at that thing over there. But guess what? I'm not a failure. In my definition, I'm not a failure. I'm a winner because I'm able to see what's important and what's not important. Also, I'm able to see when it's time to pause, when it's time to persevere, when it's time to maybe call it quits for the day and focus on my self-care, when it's time to maybe work 70 hours a week, or when it's time to just shut everything off and do something for myself, or when it's time to be like, okay, now it's time to ask for help. or when it's time for me to do certain things myself, or if I have hired something out and it's not working, then I figure out how do I pivot and bring it back under my control, either doing it myself or having someone else new work on it. So this is my definition of winning. I don't think that winning equals accomplishments. I don't think that that's true. It sometimes could be correlated, but I truly see winning as more of a kind of constant striving and not quitting, this tenacity and kind of using this realistic thinking combined with wisdom and being able to discriminate and know when to push, work, and when to slow down and return back to yourself to take care of yourself. That's my definition of winning. Okay, next piece, next part. Not only am I a winner because I don't quit, but I also truly know that I have inherent worth and value simply because I'm me. So what does that part mean? Okay, this part I feel very, very strong about. So we live in a world where there are many communities or cultures or religions that believe certain things and teach people certain things. That might include a belief that we as human beings must earn our worth or value, so that our worth or value is conditional upon a certain behavior or even a certain thought that comes into our head that we don't even have control over, so that certain behaviors could take away from or add to your worth or value as a human being. So in my childhood and upbringing, I developed a core belief that I did not have inherent worth or value unless I did XYZ or I didn't do XYZ. So this core belief, and this is going to be a simplified explanation of it, but this is what I truly believe about us as humans, how we develop core beliefs, that they develop based on a confluence of events. So I think for me, I was born with a certain brain. I was born with a certain temperament. And I was also born with certain genetics. I have a certain biology that I had and carried throughout childhood based on a lot of different things, you know, the foods I was eating, the chemicals that were around me in my environment, toxicity, that kind of thing that affects your biology, your endocrine system, all of that. But also because of kind of my upbringing in my community or my culture, you know, this environment that I lived in the 80s and the 90s, in, you know, consuming media and the peers that I had, because of my family environment and because of the things that I heard at church, you know, all of those things factored in to this core belief developing in my brain. And I really thought that my worth and value was conditional, that I had to earn it. I really believed that I was not good enough unless I proved it, unless I accomplished something, unless I did this or did that, or did not do this or did not do that, unless ABC, XYZ, all of those things. So, as you can imagine, carrying this core belief with you is not very helpful, right? That core belief did not serve me. So in my adult years, I have been fighting to disprove this belief to myself and to adopt a new belief and to retrain my brain to know and believe that I'm inherently good enough simply because I'm me. And this value does not change based on any kind of perceived accomplishments or failures. This value and worth does not change based on what I look like or do not look like, what my kids do or do not do, or how my kids act or do not act, or what they look like or do not look like. This value and worth is not based on how much money's in my bank account or what my net worth is. So my worth and value is truly independent of all of those external factors, all of those things. So I've taught myself that I am good enough, whether I'm kicking ass and taking names, or whether I'm taking a breather in my life to rest and relax and focus on peace and self-care and all of those things. I'm good enough whether I'm killing it as a mom or whether I've had a bad day as a mom, you know, whether no matter what's going on at work with the successes or the struggles at work, no matter what, I'm always good enough because that's not correlated with my worth or value or whether or not I'm good enough. I'm good enough and I have worth and value simply because I'm me and simply because I'm a human being. So this is how I define my worth and value. And as a clinical psychologist, this is what I teach all of my patients. If any of my patients were to be listening to this video, they would be like, yep, she talks about that shit all the time, about how we have inherent worth and value and that our worth and value is not conditional. So I teach it to myself, I teach it to my patients, I teach it to my kids, and I have to remind myself of this all the time. So why do I have to remind myself of this when I truly already believe it? Well, I do believe it. I do believe it. However, these old core beliefs were so deeply ingrained in my subconscious, so deeply ingrained in what I believed about myself, others in the world, that worth and value was conditional. So because it was so deeply ingrained, sometimes that old belief system will creep up and I might have an automatic thought that will pop up. It's kind of like a tape recorder playing over and over again in my head. So sometimes those old beliefs show up and get in the way, and that's normal. But what do I do when that happens? So I've had to learn this and teach myself this and practice this over many, many years, over 2 decades. First, I have to notice and identify. So this is like mindfulness. I have to notice that it's happening, that old programming is being triggered. And then I have to give myself compassion. I have to recognize it's happening and have compassion for myself. And then I can remind myself of the truth. Remind myself, oh, wait, no, that's not true. Actually, I am good enough. I do have worth and value. This is totally different. Like I get back on track, right? Because I've really learned to reprogram my thinking in these neural pathways. I've had to strengthen them over many years. I've done many, many things to try to strengthen these new neural pathways to reprogram my brain to believe these new things about myself. And so I've gotten to the point in my life now at age 41, when the old programming is triggered, it's pretty, I shouldn't say easy, but I'm more efficient. I'm more quick to get myself back on track and remind myself and show myself that compassion. So once again, I'll share with you what this kind of my mantra and my thesis is for my life. I'm a winner because I don't quit, and I have inherent worth and value. I'm inherently good enough, and I have inherent worth and value all the time, through all eternity, and through all realms of consciousness throughout the universe. So, if you think that this affirmation or mantra or thesis for life could help you, or that you could potentially benefit from this, or maybe adopt this into your life, I would recommend that you tweak it a little bit so that it fits your beliefs, so that it fits your context in terms of, if some people have a higher power or something like that, that if they fit that into this affirmation, that might really help them. I use the words like universe and consciousness and all eternity. That fits with my beliefs and my context. So tweak it for it to fit with you. But this mantra and affirmation fits who I am and describes who I am. This is who I am to the core. This is what I believe about myself and what I believe about others. So, what are you going to believe? I really encourage you to think about it and to really process these concepts, and figure out, what do you believe, and are you okay with that? And do you want to shift what you believe about yourself? Thanks.